Welcome to Off the Hanger, the fashion podcast where we delve deep into our guests' wardrobes, finding out their favourite fashion pieces and the stories behind them. This week's guest is personal stylist Regan Heinrichs. Now, before we get started, if you wouldn't mind giving a like, a follow, a comment, a subscribe, a rating, I'm sure there are others that I've forgotten. Any of those things would be grand. I hope you enjoy this episode. Welcome to Off the Hanger. It is really lovely to chat with you today, Regan. I'm super excited to have a good rummage through your wardrobe. It's very kind of you to share with us some of your time because you are a very, very busy stylist, aren't you?
Yes, I am. But you know what? I'm so excited to be here. This is like my dream, just to chat clothes all day. So I was happy to take the time.
Oh, it's the best. There's nothing better. There's no better topic of conversation, in my opinion. Let me talk about fabulous fashion all day long.
I totally agree with you. Thank you for having me.
Now, as a stylist, do you practice what you preach? Do you feel that you have that pressure to be extra stylish when it comes to meeting with clients? Or do you just very much go for your own style and you wear exactly what you want, regardless of what other people think?
No, I mean, I think personal style, it's always evolving. And as a stylist, of course, I feel that pressure a little bit, right? To hit the nail on the head every time and show up as my best stylish self. And even prior to being a stylist, I wanted to do that anyway because it makes me happy. But, it's always evolving. And so it really just depends. And I look at the trends just like anyone else does. Of course, it's my job. So I almost feel a little extra influenced sometimes because I'm in it all day. But, I try and strike the balance between the two.
Did you love fashion as a child?
I did love fashion as a child. I grew up in a very small town in Iowa, a state here in America, and we did not have fashion anywhere in our city, even in like remote cities. But my mom was always a big shoe and handbag girl. And so I don't know if that's where I got it from, but I always knew I wanted to be in some sort of the fashion realm. I just didn't know what could exist within it. And I thought it was mostly just design. And once you get into it, you can see how many different facets there are. And so once I learned that, I had a little bit more of a grasp on what I wanted to do. But when I was a child, I just loved playing dress up. I mean, that's what it was for me. So it's really cool that I get to do that as an adult.
And is there a particular piece from your childhood that you remember being really fond of?
Not a piece, but when I think of my childhood and what maybe got me super excited to work in the fashion industry, my mom and I she would take me out of school and we would go to our nearest mall that was an hour and a half away from my small town. And we would spend the whole day just shopping and making a full day of it. We would stop and get coffee. We would have lunch. And so to me, I credit kind of my love for fashion and the mall, because I still love the mall as a stylist, to days like that. And I still make, mall days like super special for myself. And I do the whole thing like my mom and I did. And so I think that's really what got me into it. But I just love to play dress up and go shopping with my mom.
That's just gorgeous. That connection between you and your mom, going shopping, spending that time together, bonding, but over fashion, I think is definitely something that will set you up for life. It's just going to see you through your entire life. And, if you decide to have kids or not, I don't know if you have kids already, but that might be an experience that you do with them as well.
Yeah, I don't have kids. I hope to someday. I hope I have a girl. And yes, I dream of being able to share the fashion world with her, support whatever she wants to do. But secretly, I'm hoping she's so into fashion so I can have that same relationship with her like I did with my mom and just have those days. I think it's really fun and I hope for it. So we'll see. But
I'm a boy mum and I still have those kind of shopping center mall days with my son. Quite often there's a bit more Lego involved and things, but he is slowly getting there into fashion. He's got quite distinct ideas of what he likes and what he doesn't like. And that's really enjoyable for me.
I love that. Yeah, I have a feeling I will be a boy mom. I think that's just how it works when the mom is such a fashion design forward type of person. Who knows? But I have that feeling. So it's nice to know that there's hope, right?
There's definitely hope in the future. What's the oldest thing you have in your wardrobe?
The oldest thing that I have. So it's actually, do you want to see it while I talk about it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's this gorgeous trench coat. It's leather. I actually picked it up at right before I moved to Los Angeles for school. I went to a estate sale back home and I found this piece and it is a gorgeous, you can't tell, but it's like a leather, really buttery, soft tan trench coat. So I have had this for probably 12 years and I love it still. I wear it all the time. It's not practical. I always tend to wear it when it's raining, but it's a favorite piece of mine. I will truly never get rid of it.
You see, that's a real juxtaposition, isn't it? Because a trench coat traditionally is for the rain, but that one with it being leather, definitely not for the rain.
Definitely more for fashion than function, but hey, that's a lot of my wardrobe and I try to embrace it.
I really love the idea of a modern take on a classic. So the idea of it being a very classic silhouette of a trench coat, then updated because it's leather, even though you've obviously had it quite a long time, it's still got that really modern feel to it.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's just one of those pieces that's timeless, which is really cool. In a day and age of trends coming in and out so quickly, I just feel like I love having some pieces like that in my wardrobe, as much as I love the trends too. But I love to have those classic go-to pieces. And I love a story. I'm a sucker for getting something secondhand, as you'll see. So I just love it.
Me too. I really enjoy when clothes have got history, when they've got a tale behind them. I bought a vintage dress recently and I know none of its backstory, but in my head, I'm creating a backstory of where she's been and who she's been worn by and the life that she's lived before she came to me.
I love that. I think that's so cool. And it's like reincarnation in a sense, but for fashion.
Now, what's the piece in your wardrobe that gets the most compliments?
So it's funny because I'm going to show you it and I'm in all neutrals today because I love a neutral, but this is anything but a neutral. It's this fur vest that I bought years ago when I was living in New York. And it is just the most colorful piece that I own, but I get the most compliments on this. I think just because it's so unique and you don't see people in a bright fur vest like this often. And I always get stopped on the street and asked about it.
I think that's right. It's because it is so unique. It's such a standout piece. And if you are a neutrals lover, that's great because you can throw that on over any neutrals outfit and it's going to look fabulous.
Exactly. And that's what I tend to do. And honestly, it's so warm. So it doesn't look practical like we talked about earlier, but it is practical. And so it's just a good go-to piece. I love wearing it in the mountains when I go visit. And when I go to New York and even around here in my smaller town, I think people are a little like shocked by it, but that's okay. I love the shock factor.
There's the Harry Winston quote of people will stare, make it worth their while.
Yes, I love that. I mean, I'm all about that. And that's what fashion is, right? It's attention grabbing and seeking. And I think that's okay to admit.
Yeah. It is. It's about, I've mentioned previously on the podcast that for me, it's about an armor, a suit of armor. Fashion is my armor so that I feel comfortable in situations, but I will wear really over the top extroverted things, even though my actual personality type is quite introverted. But it's the combination of the two. I feel comfortable wearing those bright, bold, daft things, but inside they make me feel really comfortable. And I really like that feeling of, it is a little bit show off. I really do like it if I turn heads in an outfit. I think we should embrace that more. It's not something to be ashamed of.
Yeah. And that's what fashion is about, right? Like, I think it's okay to admit. And I also think that they're good conversation starters. So, if you are someone who's a little more introverted or you're stepping into a situation, maybe you don't feel so confident on the inside, I think you can wear something that makes you exude confidence on the outside. And then it's a conversation starter. So it's an easy way to compliment something on someone, get the conversation going, and it just goes from there. So I always find that fashion just ties back into everything.
What's the newest piece that you've got? Have you been buying anything recently?
I have, and I'm wearing them because I ripped them out of the box and I just had to put them on literally this morning. I got them in the mail yesterday. I don't know if you know of the Real. I'm not sure how global it is, but it's a resale site and I am stalking that website daily. And I have been looking for these Gucci heels for forever. And I found them in my size and I had to snag them. So these are it. And I have them on my feet today, but literally just got them yesterday. So the newest and my favorite right now.
And such a classic, absolute classic. And they will hold their value so well because they are that beautiful classic silhouette and they're Gucci, gorgeous quality. And again, a perfect neutral.
Yeah, I love it. And they have like the little pop of, some sequins on here, or rhinestones, I guess is what it is. So it's a neutral, which is great for me, but it has that pop of fun that I need in my wardrobe. And so I don't know why someone got rid of these, but I'm very thankful that the 36.5 came straight to my house.
I don't know who no longer wanted these. I don't need to know why. All I can say is thank you very much.
Yes, I'm happy for them, and thank you so much. And I hope they see this and know that it came to a really good home.
They're going to be very, very well loved. Are you?
Yes, they sure will.
Are you quite sentimental about the pieces in your wardrobe? Do you have a most sentimental piece?
I'm not super sentimental in the sense that I'm okay getting rid of things if they no longer serve me. But I do have pieces in my wardrobe that I still love and will keep forever. And I actually have another pair of shoes because I'm just a shoe girl. But right out of college, I got my first job with Christian Louboutin, and I dreamed of buying their shoes. I mean, as a 21-year-old, it was so far-fetched for me at the time, living in Los Angeles, just trying to get my break into fashion. And good thing for me, they gifted me a pair of shoes to wear at work because we had to wear them. And so this was my first pair. They no longer resonate with my style very much. I don't wear them often. They're also so high, but I will never get rid of them. And I have them on display for that reason. And I think they're just an art piece.
They are incredibly beautiful. And what a dream for Louboutin to go, here you go. You need to wear a pair of our shoes. Take your pick.
Yeah, I was shocked by that. I wasn't expecting it, and so grateful. And I have many, many other pairs of shoes from them that I've loved and have passed to friends too that no longer serve me. But these will go nowhere because they were my first pair of designer shoes, and not my first designer purchase, but up there. And so I will just have them forever.
And like you said, they are a work of art. To have them on a shelf, I think is just gorgeous. I have certain pairs of shoes that I'm probably never going to wear, but they're so beautiful. And I'll never get rid of them. They're beautiful. They're just incredible. And I love looking at them and going and standing in my room of shoes, just going, oh my God, you're all just so gorgeous. But they're not ones that I would particularly wear, but I love them still.
It's the same kind of crossed as an art piece, which I would personally rather invest in clothes and shoes and handbags because that's just my thing. And so that's what these are for me. And yeah, I'll hold a special memory to them always. And they'll be here on display on my shelf for as long as I can have them.
And I think that's a really interesting point. I know nothing of art. So if I started investing in art, I wouldn't know where to start. I'd have no idea what to buy. I'd no idea if I was just wasting my money on things that are just going to go down in value. Whereas I know where I am with fashion. I know that I can invest in a piece and it's going to go up in value.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I'm the same way with art. I'm the same way with cars. I'm that's just not my forte, and I could kind of care less. I mean, I can appreciate beautiful art, of course, but I don't know the ins and the outs the way I do of fashion. And to me, these are my art pieces. They're my cars. And so I feel the same way. I look at art and cars and it just goes right over my head.
Exactly. I know which ones I like, but I don't know if they would be the sensible investments, where within fashion, I know which ones I like and which aren't the sensible investments, and I still might go there anyway. But I know which ones, if I'm looking for an investment piece that's going to hold its value or potentially go up, what I would be looking to buy. Now,
exactly.
Is there a piece in your wardrobe you would say most sums you up?
You know what? Yes. And it's going to be a little bit different compared to the things I've shown you, but I had to pull these because here in America, jeans are just a staple, and they always have been. And I love a vintage jean. These are vintage Levi's, and they're my favorite. They just sum me up. They go with all of my pieces. They make me feel my best. I can throw on, a fun pump like my Gucci's. I can throw on a really great blazer with them. But when I have a pair of jeans on, I really feel my most confident when I just step into a room and, kind of like we talked about, it just exudes that confidence out there and allows you to have those conversations, and they just feel really good on. So my vintage Levi's would be the answer there.
They're fabulous. And I think that is such an incredible piece because honestly, it's an answer we've never had before, which I always really enjoy when somebody brings us something unique and something a bit different. And actually the way you describe them of how it makes you feel when you step into a room, because they're not your traditional power piece, as it were. It's not a heel or a blazer or tailoring. It's a jean. But if that's what makes you feel fabulous, that's amazing.
Yeah, it does. And I just think because there's so much you can do with them, you know, you can throw on different shoes and you can really dress them up. You can dress them down if you want to. They just go with everything. And when you find that perfect fit of jeans, which is so hard to do these days, I think you just have to love it. And there's no choice but to feel good in them. So I know a weird answer, but I love these jeans.
It's a great answer. It's a great answer. Finding the perfect pair of jeans is like finding a unicorn. Once you know the shape and the style that's right for you and the brand that they come from, never ever let them go. Go forth and buy as many pairs as you can.
Totally agree. I always tell my clients, I don't know if shopping for denim is harder or for bikinis. They both are so difficult and can not be that fun to try on and find. But when you do find them, you know, you just have to grab them.
That's right. Now, is there a fashion faux pas or a wardrobe malfunction that you would like to share so that I can initiate you into my club of disasters?
You know what? I was thinking back on this, and I know I've had many. There has to be countless times. But I think my biggest one is when you step out in a too overdone outfit. You have the big earrings, the big necklace, the oversized blazer, maybe the sequin pants. You have the whole thing going, and it reminds me to take a little look in the mirror and take maybe one piece off. I really like that rule. And there's been many times where I've overdone it, right? You don't know what the dress code is, and you do want to feel like your best self. But to that point, sometimes you overdo it a little bit and you walk into a room and you're like, wow, I could have taken one more thing off. So that's really my only answer. But then again, it's all about playing with fashion, right? So no harm, no foul. But I do try to keep that rule now. Look in the mirror, take one thing off, and then you're good to go.
So that really does, though, bring me to, I think, my biggest love of fashion, that it's all subjective. Because for me, I love being overdressed. The idea of being underdressed would be awful to me. But for you, I think it seems to be the opposite, that you would prefer to not feel really over the top, that you like to take one thing off and that you like that rule. Whereas I never live by that rule. I'm always like, yeah, the more the better, it's fine. So I love this with fashion, though. It's always super subjective. And we're all really unique. We're all really individual. We all get to wear the things that we really enjoy and that we like. And I think the internet and social media has its fabulous points. It's amazing levels of inspiration. But then there's always those little, negative Nellies that come on and go, oh, I don't like your dress. I don't like your shoes. Or I don't like this. And I always think, yeah, but I'm not wearing it for you. And I'm also not asking you to wear it. So, that's great that that's your opinion. But that's why I love fashion. Yeah, because it's subjective. You don't need to love it. I love it. And that's what matters.
Yeah, I mean, that's so true, right? And I hear that often. And I think it's so easy to be swayed by other people's opinions. And that's the downfall of social media. The bright side is people like us get to connect and have these really fun conversations. But I totally agree. And I try to take that approach with my clients as well. I know they're all very different. And I always tell them, I think lifestyle is super important. Where do you live? What do you do? Are you a mom? Are you working? I think those things just do play a part in our wardrobes more than we think about. And it's just important to take a look at it. And so for me, being in a little bit of a smaller town, I love to dress up. I mean, when I go to New York or Los Angeles, I have no cares in the world. I do feel a little, I don't know if self-conscious is the right word, but it's in the back of my mind. And so I just take a little step back. And so I think your surroundings are important too.
Yeah, I actually touched upon that with another guest the other day, because both her and I are from small towns in the north of England, but now live in London. And the style in London is much more free. Literally, I think she said, you could be on fire and nobody had noticed. Everybody in London is just so super busy, but it gives you that freedom to wear what you want. And I do wonder how much my style would be different if I did still live in my small northern town. Would I have, ventured out into all of the bolder, brighter things that I wear? Or would I have kept more neutrals? It's a really interesting idea, but it is a huge impact where you live.
Yeah, I could talk about this all day because as someone who has moved across the country many times. My style has evolved many times, from small town in Iowa to Los Angeles to New York City, where I lived prior to living here in Colorado. I've really had to evolve my style in a way that still feels good for me, but that was my favorite part of being in New York City specifically. I felt like I could step out in whatever and be whoever I wanted to be with no judgment. And it's rare, unfortunately, but it's the perk of being in a city. So that's interesting to hear that it's kind of similar to you, or that you think about that as well.
Now, we looked at your beautiful Louboutins. Are they your favorite shoes, or do you have another pair of fabulous shoes stashed somewhere?
You know, they're not my favorite. I feel subjective because I just got these shoes I showed you from Gucci. But they're real, but those currently seem to be my favorite pair. I don't know why. I think that's how it happens as I get new ones. I'm like, now this is my favorite. Now this is my favorite. It's very hard to pick for me. But currently I have to go with the Gucci's that I showed you because I'm just obsessed with them.
I'm not surprised. I'm obsessed with them too. They're utterly incredible. What's the dream fashion item that you don't currently have that you are lusting after? It doesn't have to be practical, and you can have it irrespective of cost. You can just have it dropped into your world. What would it be?
I always have the classic pieces, like a good Max Mara coat on my wardrobe list, a pair of Chanel slingbacks. Like, I'm very practical in that sense, but I love looking at jewelry because I think that diamonds can sometimes be a little bit more far-fetched and more specific to purchase for your wardrobe. And usually they come as gifts or a gift to yourself or something of that nature. But I really just want a great tennis bracelet. I know that seems maybe a little bit boring, but that is what I have my eye on in the future. And I'm just waiting for a really good milestone to treat myself to one and do a little bit more research around which one I want to. But I want that to be, you know, a really good investment piece for myself when I hit something big.
That's a gorgeous answer. I love that. And I think, again, they are a really classic piece that's going to go with everything in your wardrobe. It will look really dressed up. It can work really nice and casually. They're just, again, a timeless piece.
Yeah, I completely agree. And, you know, we haven't gotten to touch on my more casual pieces or my more toned down pieces, but that is a big part of my wardrobe. And I think that's okay too, to have those things. But of course, I love the vintage find, and I keep room for that always. And I dream one day of finding a great vintage coat and a fur coat and just all the things. So I have a lot on my wish list, but tennis bracelet is what comes to mind right now.
There's nothing wrong with having a long list because it means you get to tick things off as you find them. I am a huge lover of a list, whether it is a fashion list or just a to-do list. And I will always write things on my list that I know I can instantly tick off, whether that is a fashion thing or whether it is just a to-do list thing. It makes me feel like I'm being productive.
I'm totally with you. I'm actually doing this challenge for myself this year where I purchase one new item a month just to kind of reel in my wardrobe a little bit and be super intentional. And also, I really wanted to focus on some investment pieces this year. So my list is long, but it's really fun when I get to check something off. And so I'm totally with you. I love a list.
So what was your piece for January? What did you buy?
Oh, I got this beautiful Kate cardigan. I've been eyeing a Kate piece for a long time, and I love their pieces. I look to their runway shows all the time, and it was practical, and I've already worn it probably 10 times. So it was a good piece, and I actually had my eye on it for months, and I found it, and I love it. So it's a beautiful Kate cardigan. I think it's the Scarlet cardigan is what it's called. So that was my January purchase, and I'm already looking forward to March.
Now, do you have a piece of fashion advice that you would have given to your younger self?
I think I would just tell myself to have a little bit more fun with it. I think it felt a little daunting as someone who was younger and in a smaller place. I hate to just continue to harp on that, but I did have such a love for it. And I think I really felt trapped sometimes in my identity and in my wardrobe. And I really felt my best when I expressed myself through it. So I think I would just give my younger self a little bit of permission to enjoy it and have fun with it and not put so much pressure on it, and use fashion as a tool rather than something that kind of like drug me down a little bit. You know, I remember times putting on an outfit. It's that classic, you have a closet full of clothes with nothing to wear, which I know people struggle with to this day. Many of my clients do. And I think I would just give myself permission to, you know, own it and just have a little more fun with it.
Such good advice. Incredible advice. It has been so lovely talking to you. Thank you so much for sharing your wardrobe on Off the Hanger.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been so much fun.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that episode. If you did, please remember to check out some more episodes of Off the Hanger.